This is the pre-council meeting of the City of Joliet, May 6, 2024, with Jan Helms-Quillman, that would be me, presiding, as unfortunately the mayor is ill this evening. So, shall we call the roll?
Begin with roll call. Mayor Darcy is absent. Councilman Cardenas.
Here.
Councilman Clement.
Here.
Councilman Guerrero.
Here.
Councilman Hug. Councilwoman Ibarra.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Here.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Here.
First on the agenda this evening is a presentation, the annual update on historic preservation activities, projects, and initiatives.
Well, good evening. I know most of you. I'm Jane Bernhardt. I'm one of the city planners here on staff, and I'm also the staff liaison to the Joliet Historic Preservation Commission. And I'm here tonight to give an update on some major initiatives that staff and the city's Historic Preservation Commission are working on to promote our city's heritage and recognize our meaningful places. And I have, over the last couple of years, been coming to doing this in May, because May is National Historic Preservation Month. So this is a way to kick off our celebration of that here in the city. Also on the agenda tonight is a resolution to accept and place on file the 2023 annual report of the Historic Preservation Commission. So I want to launch this presentation with a quick overview of historic preservation as a function of local government here in Joliet. The City Council in 1990 determined it necessary to preserve buildings, structures, and sites of historical and architectural significance, noting that these buildings, structures, and sites are important cultural, educational, and economic assets of the City of Joliet, and the character of the neighborhoods in which they are located should not be lost through inappropriate expansion, alteration, or change of use or appearance. The 1990 Historic Preservation Ordinance established procedures and regulations for the designation of local landmarks and historic districts, and authorized the creation of the Historic Preservation Commission. And on your screen tonight is the Romanesque Revival style former Richard Street Methodist Church at 212 Richard Street, which is now home to Christ Temple Apostolic Faith. And this is one of the city's more recent designations, which occurred last summer in 2023. And then the previous two slides were some of the first designations. That's okay. The Jacob Henry Mansion in 1991 and the Joseph Campbell House in 1991. So it's come a long way here in Joliet. All right, now we can go. Yeah, here we are. Good. All right, the 1990 ordinance also established policies and procedures to ensure that historic integrity of these designated properties are being protected. So staff and the commission, for certain cases, reviews certificates of appropriateness applications, which are essentially pre-building permits, to make sure the work that is being proposed is appropriate. And as an example, here on the screen, staff in the building and planning divisions worked with the Patrick Haley Mansion, which is a local historic landmark, and then the Historic Preservation Commission reviewed their dormer expansion project last summer. Next. So now I want to highlight the major projects that city staff and the commission have been overseeing over the last year, many of which are now completed or almost completed. And before I do this, I want to point out that the City of Joliet, by having a qualified Historic Preservation Commission, an effective historic preservation ordinance, and a system for the survey and inventory of local historic resources, has been certified by the state of Illinois as a certified local government, also called a CLG, which makes the city eligible for state and federal preservation-related grant funding opportunities. The city received a CLG grant in 2024 to fund a historic context study that documents the history and culture of the Joliet area Black community. The request for qualifications for this project is out now, and we hope to have a recommended consultant team for the council's approval in midsummer. Go next. And I am very happy to report that the Joliet Railroad Museum is finally opening this Friday, May 10th, after over 10 years of dedication, effort by various city staff. Some of the department heads are here right now, our state and federal partners, and the Joliet Area Historical Museum. This railroad museum is housed within Union Depot Tower, which is located within the Gateway Transportation Center. This project received CLG funding and more recently DCEO Route 66 grant program funding. You go to the next. The DCEO Route 66 grant program is also funding the city's strategic enhancements to Route 66 Park at the Broadway Street Greenway in preparation for the 100-year anniversary of historic Route 66. This project involves replacement of the existing Route 66 interpretive sign panels and objects at the park. This is expected to be completed this summer. And then on to some more recently completed projects. The Illinois State Penitentiary, also known as the Old Joliet Prison, became a National Register Historic District. It became the city's 4th National Register Historic District in late September of 2023. And this designation project was completely funded by a National Park Service grant. This designation makes the prison eligible for more grant funding opportunities, which is vitally needed to help with their ongoing stabilization efforts. And then the information generated from this nomination will further enhance the interpretation of this site. Next. The Downtown Joliet National Register Historic District became the city's 5th National Register Historic District in late December of 2023. And the primary purpose of this designation project was to enable the use of state and federal historic tax credits for qualified rehabilitation projects should a developer wish to use them. And here is an example of a project that could benefit from the tax credits if a developer chose to use them. The law firm building, also known here as Crabigales, so hoping for some good things this year.
We do have somebody that's interested in that.
Good.
Do you know who it is?
I don't.
We'll talk later.
Yes, we can talk. Okay, we do next. So again, May, National Historic Preservation Month, and this month we do take the opportunity to highlight our diverse, distinctive, and historic buildings, structures, and neighborhoods, and how they play an important role in our overall efforts to maintain an interesting, vibrant, and authentic city with our Places Matter Facebook campaign, which occurs daily in May. And I want to start by closing by mentioning that there is a lot of information on the Historic Preservation webpage on the city's website, such as nominations and photos from the 2 National Register Historic Districts that I just mentioned. This on the screen is an example of the Interactive Historic Resources Database. So it's a mapping tool, and you can click on things and you can learn more about the buildings and structures that are highlighted. All the information from the St. John's Historic Resource Survey, the survey report, the survey forms, they're all online. And we have our historic residential and commercial design guidelines manual also available for the public to use and ask questions from staff. So that's it. Again, this was supposed to be just a quick overview of what staff and the commission has been doing, and I wanted to share our enthusiasm for our meaningful places here in the city as we celebrate Historic Preservation Month. 2023 was a very busy year for the Preservation Commission and preservation in general in Joliet. 2024 is shaping up to be that way too. And I want to point out we have 3 commissioners here tonight. We have the chair of the commission, Candace Johnson-Wheeler, and Sarah Stovall, and then Quinn Adamowski. And that is it, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you.
Next is citizens to be heard on agenda items. Is there anyone that would like to speak on an agenda item this evening? Seeing none, we will have the city manager review tomorrow's items.
Okay, good evening. We'll start with appointments. We have reappointments to the Joliet Arts Commission. The mayor is recommending the following reappointments to the Joliet Arts Commission: Eric Gorder, John Simpson Jr., Peg Stover, and Deborah Summers. That's for tomorrow. Council committee reports will be tomorrow. Consent agenda, do we go over that now? Yeah, okay. Not the approval of the minutes, though. Okay, let me start here. Council Memo 20624, award of contract for the manhole replacement at East Side Treatment Plant to Performance Construction and Engineering, LLC, in the amount of $69,890. Council Memo 20724, award of a contract for the Russell Street roadway project to Austin Tyler Construction, Inc. in the amount of $192,250.04. Council Memo 20824, award of a contract for the 2024 pavement marking program to Superior Road Striping, Inc. in the amount of $260,432. Council Memo 20924, approve of a purchase of replacement pump for the Riverside Lift Station from Metropolitan Industries in the amount of $28,671. Council Memo 21024, authorization to fund pre-development loan draw 9 to Riverwalk Homes LLC in the amount of $34,434.30.
Mayor,
Yes.
I would like 210-24 removed for a standalone vote. Thank you, Krista.
I will do that for tomorrow. Thank you.
The petitioner here is here on this item, if anyone has any questions. Okay, moving on. Council Memo 21124, authorization to fund draw 9 for tax increment financing district number 7 in the amount of $682,036.14. Council Memo 21224, amendment number 1 to the professional services agreement for the storm sewer GIS mapping project contract 2 to Twig Technologies in the amount of $186,025. Council Memo 21324, amendment number 1 for the professional services agreement for the Phase 3 engineering services for the Chicago Street Sidewalk Vault Contract 2 to Civil Tech Engineering, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $42,630. Council Memo 21424, change order number 2 for the sidewalk vault improvements, 102 North Chicago Street, 175 North Chicago Street, 2 Clinton Street to Lindblad Construction in the amount of $200,160.50. Council Memo 21524, the approval of a payment of the 2024 membership dues for the Lower DuPage Watershed Group in the amount of $25,151.56. Any questions? Okay, moving on to licenses and permit applications. Council Memo 21724, application for a drive-through permit for a Taco Pros restaurant at 2565 Plainfield Road. Any questions on that? Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Council Memo 21924, ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 1, Section 2-21B and C, attendance by members of boards and commissions of the Joliet Code of Ordinances. Council Memo 22024, ordinance amending Chapter 3 of the Code of Ordinances pertaining to administrative adjudication. There are no questions. Moving on to resolutions. Council Memo 22224, resolution requesting the closure of routes 6 and 30 for the 2024 Light Up the Holidays Parade route. Council Memo 223-24, resolution accepting and placing on file the Joliet Historical Preservation Commission annual report for 2023. Council Memo 22424, resolution amending approval of dedicating a portion of Cherry Hill Road and Spencer Road as a public right-of-way. So originally, this was passed by the council in 2022, and the PIN number for the adjoining parcel was incorrect on the resolution. So now we are just putting the correct number. So this one and the 2 ordinances following this are just cleanups from something you already passed in 2022. Council Memo 22524, resolution amending approval dedicating 0.18 acre portion of Spencer Road and 0.85 acre portion of Spencer Road as public right-of-way. Council Memo 22624, resolution approving dedication of a 2.43 acre portion of Spencer Road as public right-of-way. Council Memo 22724, resolution authorizing approval and execution of a real estate sales agreement for the purchase of real property at 710 to 718 South Rayner Avenue and purchase of related insurance. Council Memo 22824, resolution approving a memorandum of understanding with the Heritage Corridor Destinations for grant funds under the Illinois DCEO Route 66 program up to $117,000. Council Memo 22924, resolution appropriating motor fuel tax funding for the Russell Street roadway project. Council Memo 23024, resolution appropriating motor fuel tax funds for the 2024 pavement marking program. That concludes the agenda.
Next is public comments. Is there anyone that would like to speak under public comments this evening? Seeing none, I did receive a request for closed session. Is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition or conveyance pending or threatened litigation, after which the meeting will be adjourned?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motion seconded to approve. Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Motion carried.